Salt is a simple substance, yet it carries profound meaning in the Bible. Its role extends beyond just flavoring food. It symbolizes purity, preservation, and covenant. This story explores the significance of salt through biblical narratives, revealing its deeper truths. In the very beginning, God created the earth and everything in it. Among his creations, he established the natural elements that would sustain life: water, air, and salt. Salt, found in oceans and earth, was not just for flavor. It was essential for life. It symbolizes God's wisdom and provision. Just as salt enhances food, God enriches our lives with his blessings. In the Old Testament, salt often represents God's covenant with his people. In Leviticus 2:13, it states, "Season all your grain offerings with salt. Do not leave the salt of the covenant of your God out of your grain offerings." This highlights that salt was not just a seasoning, it was a vital part of religious rituals. The covenant of salt signifies loyalty, faithfulness, and a lasting promise. Imagine a time when people would gather around the altar, offering their sacrifices. As the salt was sprinkled, it served as a reminder of their commitment to God. The people understood that just as salt preserves food, God preserves his people through his promises. When Jesus walked the earth, he used everyday elements to convey spiritual truths. In Matthew 5:13, he said, "You are the salt of the earth." This declaration was revolutionary. Jesus called his followers to be like salt, influencing the world around them. Salt preserves, heals, and adds flavor. Similarly, Christians are to bring hope, healing, and joy to those they encounter. Imagine a small community where everyone shared their faith. They became the salt, bringing life and vitality to their surroundings. In a world that often feels bland and lifeless, these believers infused it with purpose and meaning. Jesus also warned about the dangers of losing one's saltiness. In Matthew 5:13, he asks, "But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again?" This reflects the importance of remaining true to one's faith. When believers compromise their values or blend into the world, they lose their ability to make a difference. Picture a once vibrant church that slowly becomes indifferent. The joy and energy fade and people stop coming. Without the salt of faith and love, the church loses its impact, becoming just another building. This serves as a powerful reminder for believers to stay committed to their calling. Throughout the Bible, salt also symbolizes purity. In ancient times, salt was used in rituals to cleanse and purify. In Job 6:6, salt is mentioned in the context of tasteless food, suggesting that without purity, life becomes dull and unappealing. This emphasizes the importance of living a life that is pure and devoted to God. Think of a young girl preparing for her wedding day. She carefully selects a dress that symbolizes purity and love. In the same way, believers are called to be pure in their hearts and actions, reflecting God's holiness in their lives. In the Old Testament, salt was also part of sacrifices. In Ezekiel 43:24, God commanded that every sacrifice should be seasoned with salt. This signifies that all offerings to God must be genuine and filled with devotion. The salt in sacrifices reminds believers that worship requires sincerity and a heart dedicated to God. Imagine a farmer bringing his best lamb to the temple. As he sprinkles salt over the offering, he is not just performing a ritual, he is giving his very best to God. This act symbolizes the depth of his commitment and love for the Creator. With the coming of Christ, a new covenant was established. Salt still plays a role, but its meaning deepens. In Colossians 4:6, Paul writes, "Let your conversation be always full of grace, seasoned with salt." Here, salt symbolizes the importance of our words and actions. Just as salt enhances food, our speech should uplift and encourage. Imagine a workplace where everyone speaks kindly and encourages one another. This atmosphere becomes refreshing, much like a well-seasoned meal. Believers are called to create environments that reflect Christ's love and grace. Salt has a unique characteristic. It never loses its essence. Even when exposed to harsh conditions, it remains. This serves as a reminder of God's unchanging nature. In a world filled with change, God remains steadfast and his promises endure. Believers can find comfort in this truth. Picture a lighthouse standing strong against fierce storms. It symbolizes hope and guidance. Similarly, God's promises stand firm, guiding us through life's challenges. The hidden truth of salt in the Bible reveals its significance in various aspects of life, from representing purity and preservation to embodying commitment and influence. Salt teaches us vital lessons. As believers, we are called to be the salt of the earth, preserving goodness and bringing flavor to a world in need. In every interaction, whether at home, work, or within the community, let us remember our role. Like salt, may we enhance the lives of those around us, reminding them of the love and grace of God. In doing so, we fulfill our purpose and reflect the character of Christ, the ultimate source of our strength and hope.